everybody has to go through. So we're buying gifts for like 35 people, right? It's crazy.
That's too much work.
And he's like, I can't. This is crazy. But it's the sense of family, being around family and things like that. And so I remember one Christmas he came. It was like we were 3 years in, and my aunt said, "Okay, if you don't marry her by this year, you're out." Like,
why didn't you say it like she said it? Oh,
she completely bring out the Liberian accent. And she was just joking, but I think the pressure started kind of building at that point. And I still was kind of like not thinking about it.
You weren't too pressed about it?
Yeah, I was
Is that wrong?
No, I was not thinking about marriage until people started saying stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And then they were like,
finish your sentence.
Yeah. And they were like, when is he going to marry her, And then that's when I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we have been together. Because this was actually my longest.
What's up, everybody? I'm Leck.
I'm Germ.
And this is another episode of Ode to Black Love podcast. Y'all already know. Before we get into it, make sure you are liking, following, and subscribing to us on all social media platforms. That's at Ode to Black Love on Instagram and TikTok.
Yep.
Then Ode to Black Love podcast on Facebook and YouTube.
Yep. Make sure y'all get over to the website, odetoblacklove.com. We got the merch up. We got new shirts up.
Yes.
We got a couple of the old ones left, so get those while they still last, because I don't think we're bringing them back. We brought them back that first time.
Yeah, they're done.
I think, this is done. So y'all want to get over there and get those before they're gone. We also got some of our old episodes up. We're still working on it.
Can you quit talking about that?
We're still working on it. We're just getting it updated.
Baby, quit breaking it up. So the episodes will be on the website soon, y'all. And in biblical years, soon could be this year. It could be 100 years from now. It doesn't matter.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And if y'all want to get at us about anything, y'all can hit our email at info@odetoblacklove.com.
Yes. I can't believe you keep bringing that up.
Well, it crossed my mind. I be trying to tell them what's on there, and I'm like, well, don't go there looking for episodes. Because they're not all the way.
Anyway, y'all, enough about that. We have some special guests. Actually, before we announce who we have, do y'all notice something different about the set today?
Yeah, we in a different location.
I mean, the background is still black, but it's still not the Ode to Black Love podcast studio. And that's because we're recording at Kindred Spirits.
That's
and
right.
We have none other than, what? None other? Is that the right way to say that? Yeah. We have none other than the Hughes here to share their love story with us, y'all. And we are so, so excited. So, Mr. and Mrs. Hughes, would y'all like to introduce yourselves?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Yeah. Go ahead, babe.
Don't get nervous now.
I'm Sasha Hughes, wife, mother, lifestyle influencer, blogger, if you will.
All right, and I'm Quintin Hughes, part owner of Kindred Spirits. I also lead a local nonprofit organization, Northeast OKC Renaissance Inc.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we're excited about this. Q always show love. He's been showing love at least for a year now. After our first rap party, we hit him up to kind of come up here afterwards. And he showed love, and, ever since then, we've been rocking. I'm excited to hear y'all story.
Absolutely. And like Jeremy said, for the people who don't know, when we had our rap party a few weeks ago, it was at Kindred Spirits. So this is a local bar in Oklahoma City, located on the northeast side of the city. And it features curated cocktails. There's a patio. Y'all, it's just always a vibe.
Live music.
Live music on Sundays. It's always a vibe. So it's really dope that we have this partnership with them where we collaborate on events, but then also to have them here to share their love story.
Yeah, so
this is what the podcast about.
We done got all the housekeeping out the way.
Absolutely. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, like who hollered at who? How y'all get together?
We got to know.
Yep. They already been going back and forth about it, so I'm interested to see where they.
Some about a velvet crush
where they fell off.
Yeah, so, well, first off, I want to give a huge shout out to Ode to Black Love. Definitely appreciate what y'all are doing. What I think y'all mean to the culture in terms of promoting Black love, Black marriage, which is really a big reason we sought you all out to partner. Well, actually, I guess y'all found us first.
Yeah.
Then we saw what you were doing, and we were like, oh yeah, we gotta connect and grow together. You
Absolutely,
know what I'm saying?
yes.
So definitely appreciate the opportunity for y'all to be in the space and to even highlight our love here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah.
So how we met, Man,
he gonna take it over. Yeah, he gonna take it over. Hey, you gotta create that narrative. You gotta control the narrative.
Set the stage.
You gotta control the narrative.
So as I recall,
okay.
So I was with a group that was, I guess, celebrating, I don't know, some type of event, and then we went out to go eat at Chili's afterwards, and she was a server and bartender at Chili's at the time.
Okay.
And we're sitting at the table, and I'm like, that woman is gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she is beautiful. But I'm like, I wasn't really looking. You know what I'm saying? But I was intrigued.
Yeah.
And, you know, so after I verified that she was, I was with some others at the table, like, she is beautiful. She looking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not tripping.
I'm not tripping, but like, I don't know if she know how beautiful she is. So anyway, I went up and I came up and talked to her just to try to see like, who are you, and like, why are you here? You know, that type of thing. And asked her something around those lines, but I wasn't really trying to holler at her. I was really just wanting to know her a little bit about her story. And so she shared and was like, just kind of went about our business. And then I think a couple months later, I was attending this event at Urban Roots.
Okay.
It was one of my favorite local artists.
Deuce, huh?
Yeah. Urban Roots, last black-owned business in Deep Deuce, where art and culture collide. It was our predecessor here for Kindred Spirits. So at any rate, I went to go see Spence Brown.
Okay.
He's an artist here. And come to find out, well, anyway, I won't skip ahead. So I see her there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We see each other, and we like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So y'all remembered each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So remembered each other, and then she had let me know she was there because Spence was her cousin.
Okay.
Before we go too far, like what year is this?
Oh, sorry. This has to be 20.
This was 2011.
2011.
Okay.
Now we can put ourselves in.
2012. It's 2012, I think. It's
You're
2012.
right.
Oh, that's a good year.
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So after sparks kind of flew from there. You know what I'm saying? I was. I think I had started. I hollered at her.
Yeah. So when you saw her there, what'd you do? You walk up to her and say what up?
I think I did, man. I was on some. I wasn't on some like just holler at you type stuff. It was more. I got a different approach. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually am interested in
my email address.
Okay, we on some business.
Not the email address. He's gonna help him with the homework.
I've never had this happen before, so okay. I guess he's trying to keep it business.
My boy pulled
I was like, my email address. I'm like, how do I give you my number?
So Q, can you talk to us a little about your game?
Yeah, because you asking for the AOL chat.
I don't have any game, but I also don't have a lot of fear. You know what I'm saying? I got like a purpose, but with how I move, and so. Like it comes across, I think, to a lot of folks. So yeah, I don't have a suave approach. I don't do it, but I'm like,
I got
like I'm out there,
assuredness. You know what I'm saying? So I think but I'm genuinely interested in people. Like whether it's a beautiful woman or just like a cat that just looks interesting. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type to come up if I see a cat that looks like a celebrity, I just randomly like, hey, what person do people tell you they look like that you look like the most?
So you ain't scared of nobody, you ain't scared to talk to somebody.
Yeah. So with her, I think I asked for her email address because again, like she's extremely beautiful, right? So a person like that is getting hollered at all. You know what I'm saying? Cats coming out all the time. So I didn't want to be so forward as to be like, yo, give me your math. It was like I wanted to put a little barrier between and allow her to be able to suggest, so that's what so I think that's why I asked for the email.
Okay.
Is that accurate, Sasha?
Yeah, I guess so. So at the time back in 2012, I was a single mom. So when he asked about my story, I was like, single mom, I'm in school, just working right now. And it was actually my last table of the night. I was so mad because I was getting ready to go home. And 12 people walk in. And I'm like, they look at me, it's your table. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came, he talked to me in like he had a crush blue velvet jacket on.
Blue? Like what kind of blue? We talking like royal blue?
It was Yeah, it was royal blue.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because it wasn't lighter than. It was definitely not baby blue. It was royal blue, and I remember because it stood out so much. I'm like, I mean, I like the jacket.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, okay, that's pretty cool. But he did. I think one of the things that got me interested in him was the fact that he asked what my story was before just being like, girl, let me get your number. You know, the normal, whatever you're used to, like, let me talk to you or, you know, whatever. So they gave us a chance to connect, I think, on that level. And then the fact that he didn't ask for my number and just kind of went back and sat down also intrigued me because I'm like, okay, well, I guess he just wanted to just, you know, talk to me. And then later on, our paths would collide. I think 2 months later, I was actually walking into Urban Roots, and there's like glass. And I saw him, and I was like, hey, I know that guy. I was with my cousin and a good friend of mine at the time. I'm like, hey, I know that guy. And so we ended up talking and laughing the whole night. I think even to the point where the next performer was like, okay, guys, like, we need y'all to pipe down. I was like, oh, no.
Y'all doing too much.
Yeah. And so we just kind of hit it off, I think, after that. And actually, after he got my email address or my number, both, I got in the car with my girlfriends, and I told them, I was like, y'all, I think I just met my husband. And I remember my cousin was in the back seat, and she, like, hit me upside my head. She was like, shut up, girl. She was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You had a few drinks. And I'm like, no, this is a different feeling. Like, I've never felt this before. So
when you first saw Q, were you like, man, this man is fine? Like, did you have the same physical attraction as well?
I did have a physical attraction to him. I was like, oh, you know, and he was different. So, I think throughout the college years, I was used to a certain type, which was the football player, athlete, you know, whatever. And he was different from that. I could see it just, you know, with his look. Like, I think when we started dating, like, he was very, I don't know. I don't know who. During that time, it's like you have a lot of NDRE, a lot of soul. You know, so it was very, that's what attracted me to him. So I'm like, he's real, like, authentic, you know.
Down to earth. Yeah,
down to earth. He wasn't like the football player I would meet. So that was pretty cool, and I think that's what drew me to him even more.
So are y'all both from Oklahoma?
No.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about, like, maybe y'all's past before?
Yeah, I'm originally from Little Rock, Arkansas, so I came to Oklahoma for college. I got a scholarship to come to OU. So I got here in like 2000.
Okay.
You know, did a couple of degrees at OU, and then ended up come work on the East Side.
Okay.
Out of college. And so, you know, around that same time as when we met.
Okay. What about you?
So I am originally from Monrovia, Liberia, West Africa.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's where my family is from. That's where I was born up until the age of about 4. And then my family and I fled a civil war that lasted about 14 years. We were able to get out alive, thankfully, but we did lose some people along the way. But then we came to America, the East Coast first, to kind of get established. My parents figured it was too fast for us at that time. They wanted a slower pace transition, and then just the PTSD from war and seeing everything that we all saw. So there were already some Liberians in Texas and Oklahoma, and they were like, well, you guys come, Oklahoma's slower, Texas is slower, and my family chose Oklahoma. And that's how we migrated here, and we've been here ever since. So the early 90s was when we got here, and like my whole family and we were all living like in one apartment. It was like a 2-bedroom apartment, and then everybody kind of.
How many people?
Jeez. So 4 aunts, grandmother, cousins, 3-4 cousins.
Y'all live in the same apartment?
Yeah, but it wasn't for a long time. Like, we just needed to get...
like, hey.
Everybody needed to get established. So, I think my parents were the first one to be like, okay, we're going to go. But the apartment was like, you know, the next apartment was right down the street. So, we weren't too far from each other ever. And then as we learned about America and people like my aunts started going to school and working, everybody kind of started going their separate ways and creating their families. And so, but yeah, we stayed here and just made a life in Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yeah. Fun fact, my business partner here at Kindred, Sandino Thompson, his father was like a leader in Northeast Oklahoma City and an activist as he was coming up, and he helped a lot of immigrants migrate from like West Africa to here, and so he actually helped her family get here.
Shut up!
We had no
idea.
That's
crazy.
Yeah. And Sandino actually remembers like her cousins like growing up being around his father's office and stuff like that. So
that's crazy.
That's crazy how life be going full circle. Literally full circle.
In a way, I owe his dad the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? The opportunity I got.
Yeah.
For my family.
So you just never know, where it'll lead you.
Absolutely.
For sure.
But I'm gonna get back in y'all business. That shit, y'all was cute.
I felt it.
But after y'all left that night at Urban Roots, like where to take off from there?
Oh yeah, it was pretty instant, man. I had to we had to connect. We had to reconnect pretty soon after, and I don't even know if it was about the next week. Yeah.
We went on date like every single day.
Oh wow! So y'all went ahead and
went in hot.
I like it. He had something.
Your cousins wasn't on you,
What could they do at this point? Listen, at that point, like they were all because my cousin was staying at my condo for the summer, and then my friend would periodically come in and spend the night, and we would go out. And when I didn't have my daughter, she would be with her dad. But I think like. They also would watch her. They'd be like, girl, go have fun. Like you do enough. You go to school, you work, you have a kid. And well, how old was I? Like 26, 27 at that time? Maybe? No, I was.
How old am I? What 5-year difference, right? So I wasn't 30 yet.
I'm 35.
So you were like 25.
Yeah, so 25. And wasn't even looking. Like I wasn't interested in dating. I wasn't at that point after having a child. People tell you your life is over, even though you're older, and they tell you like nobody's gonna want to date you. And so I was kind of in that place. I was like, it's gonna be me and her. I was not looking, and so when he came across, we dated for like every day that week. He had something different. We went to the I think it was the art.
Q had them lined up.
Yeah, it was like the art museum, the rooftops. Things I had never experienced before. And so we did that for a while. And it was great.
That's cool.
Yeah, like obviously we have a small age gap, and so there was a difference in experiences. But there was also like something that I think early on I kind of recognized in her, even probably from the time in Chili's. It was just like, the reason I was intrigued is like, I guess I saw something different, like in her energy. Like, she didn't, like there was a mismatch in like the place that she was in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like, so, like she said, the type that she dated and stuff, I'm like, this is like the type of beauty and energy that you got here. I'm like, I'm surprised you're not snatched up by somebody like in the league. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So and like she didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like that was also obvious. And so I was like, man, I'm punching above my weight. But you know what I'm saying?
He said, I gotta come out swinging.
Yeah, I'm coming out, but she don't even know it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm bringing all the heat.
Yeah.
I was just there.
So, Quintin, did you have any thoughts about her having a child? I mean, it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like you still were pursuing.
Oh, no, I definitely did.
Oh, okay.
I definitely did. I had I had a checklist, just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just like women do. 100%. And so I'm like, I'm under 30. I'm feeling like I got options. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm like, so if I got options, then it's gonna be this, and this. You know what I'm saying? And really, what was crazy is like, several of them things on the list, like I was like, screw it.
Yeah.
When it came to her.
Got rid of them.
You know what I'm saying? When it came to her. Because it was like I said, back to that like potential that she didn't see, like I could see. And so I was like, I'm just going to knock it off. You know what I'm saying? See, she got a kid. Okay. We'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
How long did it take you to like come around? That you was just like off the jump, you was like, I'm good.
No, it took a little bit. I wouldn't because having a daughter, I didn't want a whole bunch of men around. So I did go on dates here and there, but they were never allowed at my house. I just didn't, I kept that separate. And so before he even met her, I think it was like 2 to 3 months into our relationship before they even, we had a special day where we took her out. She was 2 at that time. Oh, okay. And so, I kept that completely separate. I would talk about her and, things like that. But meeting her, it was like 2 to 3 months in to that.
Yeah, but for me, to get past, like, my ideal, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like immediately I was just all in. Like, I was interested in courting her. But I also wasn't, like, saying, let's get married. This is all I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, I see.
But I had concerns, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, she wasn't like college educated. She hadn't like completed degrees and things. And I was like, my expectations at the time is like, that was what I wanted. You know what I mean? And still I made the decision that I wanted.
So is that something y'all talked
about?
Like, did y'all have those discussions or you just kind of held on to them?
I think it was, I don't know how necessary it was to have. You know what I'm saying? And I don't remember if we had it, but I knew that it was somewhat of a barrier, I think, for her. Like I could see it was an insecurity for her, right? Because at the time, like I had just finished my my doctorate. You know what I'm saying? So I'm under 30. I'm like growing in terms of my professional career. I'm growing in terms of opportunities to do other things, so I'm kind of at a different place. I was at a different place than she was. And I think I could see that for her, she didn't feel like she was where she wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? And also she didn't feel like she was enough for me. So I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was like, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
So how long did it take y'all to become like official or whatever you want to call it?
I would say those 2 to 3 months. Because like finding out that he did have a PhD. So the background with my family is coming from a war, coming to America, and making up your place in America, right? Education is the number one. Factor. So when I had my daughter, I was in college, and I ended up leaving college to take care of her full time and work full time. And so that was not ideal. Me getting pregnant out of wedlock, that's not a traditional. It doesn't happen. It happens in our culture, but it's not something that my father wanted for me. So there was tension there with him, his oldest child. I have 4 siblings, but as the oldest child, I was supposed to be setting the example. So I already felt like, oh my gosh, I've disappointed my family. And so when Quintin came into the picture, I was like, great, I really like this guy, but am I going to be able to, sustain the relationship? Like, am I going to be able to have those conversations on that level, and really think? Because I was still working through a lot of hurt and stuff that had come with, other relationships and then, a child and all that stuff. So I was afraid of that, I think. And here's this guy who has his PhD. He's done with college. He doesn't have any, and I'm kind of starting back over, I felt like. There was definitely feelings of inadequacy and not being enough, and that he would probably go off and find somebody else, So I prepared myself for that, I think.
So how did y'all finally work through, or how did y'all work through those emotions and feelings?
I think it has been a work in progress. Still, I think now it's a little different now that I have my master's and I'm like completely, not to say that education just has been everything. But it was a part of my life that I started something and I needed to finish it. So until you finish something, it's always going to be in the back of your mind, whether it's doing laundry or you got to do this. It's until you get it done, there's no ease. You don't have an easy feeling about it. And so I think by that time my family was like, they were like, we're really proud of you because you're taking care of your child. Like that became the number one thing. They were like, you don't ask for help from us. You take care of her. She's, you know, you're doing better than what we expected on that end. And so that meant a lot to me. But in the back of my mind, I was still like, I got to finish, you know. But I think our relationship just blossomed so much that kind of faded into the back a little bit. And we just kind of kept going.
Yeah, I think you know, I have obviously made a choice when I continued to date the woman. So I grew up in a single parent household. So, so like I understood the choice that I was making early on. And like what I wasn't going to do. You know what I'm saying? Like what I wasn't going to do is like lead this woman on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
In that situation. But I think was more, I guess because of that, for me, I think I was more like sympathetic to the situation. And it really caused me to reflect more on my mom and have even more respect for her. Like I already had her on the pedestal, but like even more respect because she didn't find the love of her life while I was the age that Nadia was, was and stuff like that. So I think I had already kind of reconciled that, damn the list. You know what I'm saying? But also like this woman she don't see what I see. You know what I'm saying? And so like I kind of decided I was gonna like stick with, helping her to see and realize that. And that's been kind of a theme of ours, like our whole relationship, I think. But like up until probably more recently, she's like seen it. You know what I'm saying? And like that's kind of like, for me, that's the dopest shit. You know what I'm saying? Like to see her kind of step into her own. And I think part of it, man, like the degree probably helped to unlock some. But like I always try to tell her, like those to me are not nearly as meaningful. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it helps you feel a certain way about yourself, or if it helps you like get to the point where you see the power in you, then okay, cool. But like you didn't need it. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I think more and more she kind of sees that. So
okay. So Quintin, while you were talking, I was thinking like, how is that knowing that you had to kind of take on the responsibility? Like, I don't want to say you got to be like stepdaddy right away, but when you're dating a woman with a child, it's a little bit more responsibility. You're not just dating just her, but you got to think about the child, especially when y'all start hanging out and stuff. So how is it carrying that responsibility?
Well, shoot, it was definitely been a growing pains. You know what I'm saying? Like, being single for so long. Like, I mean, we're just selfish beings generally. In general, and then, like at that age, you're more selfish than as you mature. And so, while at the same time, like I said, I was able to be more empathetic and sympathetic because of the how I grew up. But there's a whole other set of challenges. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, becoming like a stepfather. Or, you know what I'm saying? And every situation is different. Like households. Yeah. Where I grew up, it was more the same. Like he wasn't there. Like a dude, there wasn't a dad there. And so like if another guy like stepped in, there was like space and opportunity to come in and be daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like you could more than likely adopt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's not the case in our situation. Like my daughter has a strong father figure in her life. Like the time is split down the middle. You know what I'm saying? So the struggle, I guess the challenge has been more so like how to establish a relationship with her in that environment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
That's an interesting space to navigate because, like you said, a lot of people sometimes can just step in and it's no issue. Yeah. But, you know, having to be I guess, like the third wheel on the co-parenting situation, that's something that I never even put my feet in those shoes. You know, like even thought about how that is
man.
To be that.
And I think my personality type is probably helpful. You know what I'm saying? I can compartmentalize well. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it could be helpful and then not helpful.
I was about to say
that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just like I just say, okay, you know, whatever, you know, instead of like I guess maybe dealing with some of those things like just then, but yeah, like kind of third wheel can be a way to describe it when it comes to like your legal authority. You know what I'm saying? And then as you transition into marriage, you know what I'm saying, your parental authority. Yeah. So those are definitely things to work through. And then like differences in terms of expectations in different households. Yeah. In our case, unfortunately, like there's not alignment. You know what I'm saying, in terms of ideology and approach. Gotcha. So it makes it's made that part very challenging, right? So interesting. Yeah.
So how do y'all balance that? Like, I mean, I know it's not no perfect, but I mean, that's real life. Like, how do y'all balance it? Because it's like, I mean, every situation is not perfect, and you want to be like, yeah, we're fine, but how do y'all balance that? Is it just like y'all got to meet in the middle some places, or?
Hardly. I think, and Quintin, I think, has been so good about teaching me patience. And I think through my own healing process, I've learned to see people or meet people where they're at. And I've learned that all the things that have been directed, like the negativity and things like that, to let those go because they end up affecting our relationship and they can end up pulling us apart. So I think it's important for us to... I think I have seen that it's important for us once we make a decision in our household to stand firm in that, whether the other party agrees or not. It's our household, and this is the foundation that we're building. And so, yeah, it's been challenging, but I think his telling me like you are enough and daily you are enough, you can do this, it's gonna be fine. I think those words of affirmation, those things have helped a lot along this journey. So I think for co-parents out there who don't have the best situation or high conflict or whatever you want to call it with a step parent, it can be hard. It definitely can. But I think you have to make the choices like, is this going to drive us apart or are we going to? And I think the beautiful thing is like in certain situations we have been in, legal or not, for my husband to come to me and say we're in this together, that means a lot to me. Like, and it gives us this power to say that like you're not going to come between what we've established here. So it's important to always keep the child at the center. Absolutely. And I think functioning, I think that's where a lot of relationships kind of go down, is where the child is not the center anymore. So it's important to keep that and to also talk about it. Yeah. Like we're constantly talking and having conversations as to what we could do better, because we can only control what our end. So
yeah, and to be clear, but to be clear, we don't have it figured out. So like you asked, how do we balance it? How do we balance it? It is not balanced. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we're just, I guess we're committed to the process.
Yeah. So how was it establishing what y'all wanted to do for your household? So I know you have a co-parent situation, but I know it also was probably maybe some differences that you guys had to come to terms with as it pertains to what y'all wanted for y'all's family. So how was that process? So or were y'all pretty aligned?
We were raised in different settings. I think I was raised with a strict African dad who didn't allow much wiggle room for anything. So I wasn't going out. I wasn't hanging out with friends or doing any of that stuff. And so that's what I was used to. I didn't want that for my children. And I also think like the whole, you have the Southern, Arkansas respect. You got the Arkansas. When I visited Arkansas for the first time, I noticed that Quinn would be like, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, sir. And I wasn't used to that.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then as we started taking our daughter on trips, you know, he would expect her to say, yes, ma'am, no, sir. And I wasn't raising her to, you know, we didn't say that in our household. We'd be like, they call your name, yes, you know. Yeah. But in Arkansas, that's disrespectful.
You
better not. You better say.
Yeah, it's not yes, it's yeah.
Yeah, or we say you know.
Get you.
I remember his mom looked at me crazy. I was like, yeah, you know.
Like she used to have a customer or something.
And he's like, yes, ma'am, you know, ma'am. And I'm just, so that's taken some getting used to in our household because that's how he would like for the children to respond to adults. And so I think I've compromised on that. We're still working on it to this day because sometimes I forget, you know. But things like that, I think also communication wasn't big in our household. You didn't talk about your feelings. You didn't talk about situations after they happened. They just kind of were done, you know. You went through them, you dealt with them, and that was it. And so I think Quintin has he's a very strong communicator, a very good one, and I was not. And so along the way, he has taught me that it's important to talk to your children, you know, after a situation. I think we do that, especially with our little one. He'll tell us his feelings about something, like, I'm so mad, I'm so angry. And I've had to learn to have patience. And that's another thing. Like, my dad didn't have patience. If you did something, you get a whoop, you know. It was no ifs, ands, or buts. We not sit down and talk about it. And I think with him on the softer side of co-parenting, I've seen him, like, pull our son to the side and ask him, like, is what you're doing respectful? Is it, are you doing what we talk about every day? And for him to think about that and answer those questions helps him to understand that he's not doing what we're expecting of him. So, it's been, there were some challenges, I think, but he's the leader, so you know, we fall into line, and I support him, he supports me, and then we talk about it. Communication. Keep talking about it until everybody's on the same page. So
we never really got into, like, when did y'all start kind of getting serious? Like, we kind of got it. Y'all started dating, and you had your checklist, but when did y'all kind of hop into
marriage serious?
4 years later, 3 years later.
Okay.
So y'all was at it for a minute.
Yeah, I remember one Christmas he came. And my family's big now, so we throw these huge, elaborate Christmases where everybody has to get everybody a gift. Oh, wow. So and everybody has to go through. So we're buying gifts for like 35 people, right? It's crazy.
That's too much work.
And he's like, I can't. This is crazy. But it's the sense of family, you know. Being around family and things like that. And so I remember one Christmas he came. It was like we were 3 years in, and my aunt said, okay, if you don't marry her by this year, you're out. Like,
why didn't you say it like she said it?
Oh, Lord.
She completely bring out the Liberian accent. She was just joking, but I think the pressure started kind of building at that point. And I still was kind of like, not thinking about it.
You weren't too pressed about it?
Yeah, I was
Is that wrong? You got that.
No, I was not thinking about marriage until people started saying stuff. And then they
were
let
her
like,
finish her sentence.
Yeah. And they were like, when is he gonna marry her? You know? And then that's when I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we have been together. Because this was actually my longest relationship.
Okay.
Like, I had never stayed this long, so I never stuck around to find out what was next. And so that's when the pressure started mounting, when people started talking.
She was applying pressure. I mean, but there's like social pressure from,
of course,
you know, both sides of the family. I think so. She also applied pressure to for us to be dating, like, officially. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I was just kind of letting it be.
Just play by ear.
Yeah. For a second, and she, you know, I think we went to like this barbecue. RIP Jim. But yeah, we this barbecue in like Anadarko or whatever. But
okay,
just random.
okay.
Oh, maybe it was chicken shape. But anyway, coming back, and then she was like, she basically it was like ultimatum, like you know what I'm saying?
What are we? Huh? That question.
Yeah, that type of deal. I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I had already knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, she has a child, and I don't think I had met Nadia yet. Yeah, so
he was trying to come to the house. Look, he was trying to come to the house. He was like, "Oh, so I know you said you love to cook. When are you gonna cook for me? You trying to cook for me next week?" And by this time we dating like 2-3 weeks. You trying to cook for me next week? I said no, because I already know what you know.
Look at him. He ain't denying it. He ain't denying it.
He tried to get in.
He ain't denying it.
Yeah, he tried to get in where he could fit in. And I said, no, I'm not cooking for you yet until, we're serious. And so, yeah, we got to that point. And then I cooked for him.
Yeah, so, and then after that, I think as far as marriage went, so like I had different ideas about the institution of marriage as well.
Come on,
okay.
So I wasn't sold on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had been taking my time. I think I'm 28, 29. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my partners were married. But early in marriage, and so they was like during the early struggles of marriage.
All this shit
you know what I'm saying?
Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it.
And so I'm seeing that, and Cass is not looking happy.
And you living too, you like kind of hitting your prime.
Like, I'm good. I got options. You know what I'm saying? And it's like this institution. Like, what is it really for? You know what I'm saying? Is what my thought process then was. Again, a selfish young person that feels like they got a future ahead of them that would only be like limited by this tradition.
That's holding you down.
That's kind of steeped in the ideology that I wasn't all the way in agreement with. You know what I'm saying? And so, and also like looking at just the sheer numbers of it. Like more than likely, it wasn't going to be successful.
Look at statistics.
So it's like, why, Sway? You know what I'm saying? So like, so I have these thoughts in my head, and I think I would share those with her. And at the same time, I'm with a woman that has a child and that has these expectations. I live within a culture and my own family that have like these expectations of marriage as well. So like I have these thoughts, but I kind of know also. If I'm staying with her,
it's kind of making those excuses.
It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna, marriage is gonna happen. I don't believe in it, but like it's something that I probably have to do practically, right? And so around the same time, I think.
I think I'm gonna say this. So the 3 years we were in a committed relationship, because I don't tolerate cheating. And I told him this, I think on the first date.
Some people do.
There's some people who are like, that's not the breaking point.
You ever heard of Tristan Thompson?
Come on. That's a great example, baby.
That's a perfect example. But I think in the beginning, I told him, like, from jump, I think from the first date, I was like, I played the games. I did the back and forth. I, ran into the random females. Like, I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. So I think that kind of established where I was at, too. So I guess I was, in a sense, dating to get married, but I wasn't. It was just, like I said, I would go on dates here and there, but nothing ever sparked, my interest like him. And I told him, I'm like, if you're going to date me, like, I have to be the only one, because I'm not talking to anybody else, and I don't expect you to be out here, and especially we talk like in today's culture, it's the norm. I already had a child, so it wasn't like I'm saving myself for marriage. And I talked to him about that. I'm like, I don't do that. Like I don't mess around town. That's not me. And so those were the conversations that we had, and I think that kind of set the foundation for where we were going to be in the 3 years leading up to marriage, and what we wanted to expect from each other, because he didn't tolerate it either. He's like, I don't do that. Like, I've been hurt before, and so.
Did y'all live together before y'all got married?
Briefly.
Like right before.
For like 5 months.
Yeah.
Right,
once we were engaged.
All right, so that's
Okay.
I'm gonna say. So when did you know when you was ready? When you know?
Oh
you
yeah.
the question?
So like back to what I was saying. Like I had these thoughts or whatever, but I also was like approaching 30 and stuff like that, and coming up on a transition point in life, right? Mm-hmm. And so I kind of made the decision that I was, that we were going to end up being married, right? I was going to marry her. But I started making moves, like I was being strategic. So I bought a house.
Okay.
Right? And so I bought a house, and it was a house that needed to be renovated. Mm-hmm. And so like this is my plan. And I think it was like, I think our conversations I thought that our conversations were made it kind of known that we would be, you know what I'm saying, that we were moving in that direction. And then like, buying a house, like then I kind of, I brought her into the process of like starting to look at the renovation process and stuff like that, what she wanted to look like. But somehow she didn't see that it was moving in that direction, and so around that time she started kind of putting pressure on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was like, so.
And her family was putting pressure on her.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, he's got, I think like he's got her.
My dad. So. I love my dad. He is the best. My dad. So he had a paint party. And so at that point, the house had been renovated. They were, there were still some things out of place, but he had a paint party and he invited all his friends. I got a cake and, some food. Everybody came over. And I remember my dad walking in and looking around, and he's like, so I'm going to paint in a house for a man who's not planning on marrying my daughter. That was his thing.
Like he said it straight up?
He said it straight up. And
jeez.
I think at that point I was like, Daddy! And but then when I thought about it, I was like, he's right in a sense. Like, what are we
as a parent for sure? Yeah.
What are we doing? And he, by that point, like I said, it had been 3.5 years, and so I think when my dad made that comment, I was like, yeah, we need to have a conversation, because I didn't feel, even though I had been a part of the process from beginning to end, I still was like, is he gonna just live in this house and I'm still gonna stay in, in my apartment or whatever.
So it's still like a communication barrier. Like you was thinking one thing, but you ain't necessarily say it, and you like thinking one thing. Yeah.
So.
Right. I mean, because then you like, I don't know, you still want it to be some mystery whenever like the question gets popped.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you feel like you make some obvious.
Yeah, you should be picking up on these secrets.
Yeah, steps to like the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like why? Anyway, so yeah, I think so. We had this paint party, and so like we going through these steps. Like in my mind, and I think the next thing, so it still wasn't time to move into the house. Like it was still being
worked on. What year is
on.
this? I'm sorry.
This is like, I'm sorry, this
2015.
is 2014. I bought the house.
2015, because you proposed, because we got married in 2016. You proposed in 2015.
Okay, and we had a housewarming.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and so like I said, I had a plan. Like I had these steps. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I think I had bought the ring. You know what I'm saying? I had already asked her parents. Mm-hmm. But she was still acting up. You know, she was still acting up. Like she did. You know what I'm saying? So like, really in her mind, like she did not see anything coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anyway, yeah. So we had a housewarming. Invited everybody to the housewarming. You know what I'm saying?
Was Pops there? Was Pops there? He was acting cool this time?
Hey, before we get too far, I heard you say you asked her parents.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta ask. Did you say, may I have your daughter's hand in marriage? Or did you say, like, I'm marrying your daughter? Like, did you declare your intentions or did you ask?
Yeah, it was a question.
It was a question.
Okay.
It'd be back and forth. It's like 50-50 because
I mean, like she said,
I declared. I'm married. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. Like, I'm just letting y'all know, letting you know how to respect.
Well, it's different though because my dad passed away, so he was talking to my mom. Yeah, so it's a different conversation.
But yeah, I think that's kind of like if the dad is around. I think most people.
Yeah, it's a different energy.
Yeah,
with the dad in the house.
For
like you got egos and all of that.
Yeah.
So I asked them both, and plus they, like she said, African family.
Tradition.
So even more like a matriarch or a patriarch. Yeah. So so I asked, and they were, you know, I didn't think I was gonna have barriers. You know what I'm saying? We had been dating this long. Her family loved me. I love her family. And that's something that we didn't touch on. Like something about that was another reason I think that I was in. You know what I'm saying, for a long haul. You know, I talk about my interest in understanding like our ancestors, how they did it. I really felt like they really helped me feel like a connection to Africa. You know what I'm saying? Just because like they exposed me to different like traditions and things of that nature that just like made me feel like it was something that I was missing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so, like she said, the way they got together for Christmas, the way they celebrate their own like independence, Liberian Independence Day. They have pretty much a party for everything, you know what I'm saying? And the whole community gets together. It's a different, like this immigrant culture, and this is probably, you could say, across different groups, right? But when they come over, it's just them. You know what I'm saying? So like they got their own bubble, and like that's all they trust. And that they feel safe together. And so like they spend a lot of time together now as their children were going to school, and so they were getting socialized and integrated into U.S. But as the all of the adults, like that's all they knew. And so a lot of the children, they did grow up together. But anyway, it's just, you know, the music, the food. You know what I'm saying?
How is the food?
It's amazing.
I'm gonna have to cook for y'all one day.
It's amazing. We down. So they really embraced me, and I really embraced the culture. So. Yeah, they were just basically waiting on me to, you know what I'm saying, get my shit together.
So I'm assuming you did it at the housewarming?
The housewarming.
And but you kept saying our housewarming, so y'all knew you were going to be there at this point, or was it like your housewarming?
I still thought it was his house.
Yeah, so it's my housewarming, so that's why they have
apartment. That's kind of how he did it. Shit. I was like, I'm gonna help you get this apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was like, so nice of him.
Like, you know, I got like a little extra or whatever. I'll help you get this apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to stay downtown? It's a little bit out of your budget. Like, you know what I'm saying? I help you get the apartment. Same thing. It's I thought she knew too.
Right.
You know?
Like, what do you think this means? You know what I'm saying? But no.
Nice.
She said, I thought it was weird that you just helped me. That's what she said. I thought it was weird that you was gonna help me move into this apartment.
And pay for it, but I got one of them. Like
funny. But anyway, that thing was a spectacle. It's probably one of the most beautiful things. Like what Liberians show up. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
And so, like, between our families, like, we probably had, like 75, 100 people at the housewarming. And so, like, we got So I proposed, we brought her outside. Well, it was under the guise of it being, like, a speech to thank everybody, you know, for coming.
The theme was DIY. So he was like, you know, it's DIY. We did it ourselves, you know, this house. But he's like, now I want to do it together. And then that's when he called me and my daughter and came up, and he's like, Sasha, Nadia, will you guys marry? You know, like, and so I think that was special for her, because I looked at her and she's like, yeah. She's like, yes, okay. So that was pretty special for me, and that's when I turned back around after crying for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So how did it feel once you finally had the ring and you were engaged? Like, did it feel like, woof? Okay.
Yeah, I did. I felt relieved. There was a bit of anxiety, because I'm like, oh, now what happens? But you're in that process, and so now you're planning a wedding. Yeah. So you have all of this stuff to look forward to. Yep. And then the wedding rolls around, and there's like 400 people. I think we had 36 in our wedding party.
Ooh, you had a big
It was at the Civic Center. Yeah, we had like 36 in our wedding party.
36?
That's what I talk about, show up. Like,
I guess if they're going to show up, you got to have the seats.
And I was the firstborn, so my parents have been waiting for this moment forever. We had our change of outfits.
I was about to ask.
The traditional music. There were some really special moments. Like my father's best friend, who was his best man at his wedding, flew in to be the MC at our wedding, and he's known me since before, and so those things were special. And I
that's
think,
beautiful.
Quintin, I think you're like, was it your first grade teacher that you're?
My fifth and sixth grade teacher.
Yeah,
Shut up.
came from Arkansas, and so we could feel the love in the room, and it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. So
that's beautiful.
How was it planning the wedding? Did y'all butt heads at all? Okay.
Terrible.
Horrible. He had to take over because it's too much for me. I'm not a planner by nature. He is.
Okay.
And like if it's too over, now I do a little better.
Yeah.
But if it became so overwhelming that like I just wanted to, like, my parents, I remember we bought like a box of invitations. It was like $350. My parents were like, we don't like that. So it just went in the shed.
Went away, yeah.
It's like still sitting in the shed.
Money.
And they were like, we need to redo this. Yeah. We need to redo this. And so things like that were happening. I mean, people who were like, we changed your diaper when you were little, trying to come to the wedding.
Yes.
So, and the Civic Center has a fire code, and we trying to maneuver tables and figure out how to fit all these people in. Because the RSVP list got up to, I think it was 466. Ooh. And out of that, I think 300 and something ended up coming. And it was crazy. But Mr. Planner over here, had everything in an Excel spreadsheet.
He had it ready to go.
Tabs, budgets, amounts, vendors who had been paid. He had everything in there, so that made it easier for me. But I will never do it again.
So did y'all get help with the wedding, like with paying for it?
Yes. Okay. So we split. We had a portion of my parents, and then my 4 aunts also contributed each. Yeah, they gave us
show
big
up
gifts.
For real.
Yeah. So we were
Yeah.
grateful for them, and then of course you have the money spray dance.
Yeah. What was you about to say?
What did you say?
So damn, I need a library.
Get on my nerves. Like traditionally, we didn't know. I didn't know any other way. I'm like, I expected it. Like, we need a budget. I'm like, chill out.
Yeah, family showing up for this.
They showed up, but they did. Yeah, they showed up.
That.
My aunt, all 4 of them. And then, of course, we get to the wedding and they're doing the money spraying dance. You have that.
Yes, that be looking so fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And then you have family who comes into town and they give you cards, so you got that.
Yeah.
So that was
lots of contributions.
Yeah, lots of
I love that.
A lot of help.
Yeah.
No, so how's being married? We always say, like, when we first got married, like, it changed, not for the bad necessarily, but once you get married, like, it's different.
Yeah.
So did y'all experience that?
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It was like, so I told you about my homeboys that were experiencing challenges early on. I mean, we dealt with all of that too. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to bring two people together. And we did, I think we invested a lot in like counseling and stuff like that early on. And it probably helped us to get through those times, but it was still rough. You know what I'm saying? We did the premarital for, probably at least 6 months before we got married. Then we went through, we have a counselor that we go to together. We did eye to eye. I think we did it twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I'm really committed to like growth.
Making it work.
You know what I'm saying? Like a growth mindset. You know what I mean? And I've always been she was less so. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it was harder for her early on to kind of get on to like really engage in those and be open to them.
Yeah.
And so we struggled.
Struggle bus.
Yeah.
Did you have a hesitation to therapy, or was it Was it just a resistance, or what contributed to that?
So yeah, we didn't grow. Like I said, in our household, we didn't talk about our feelings. We didn't talk about any of that